Tonight, Ottawa County detectives are in the middle of two suspected heroin overdose cases that claim the lives of two men in less than a month at the same house. And now the focus of the investigation centers on this man, who police say is suspected of providing the heroin and the place to use it. Tonight, as he bounded out of jail, he talked only with 24 Hour News 8's Leon Hendricks. Leon?
Brian, good evening. That suspect obviously devastated. I mean, you could see it on his face as we spoke to him here outside of the Ottawa County Jail. He now has to deal with the potential of criminal charges and the loss of two of his friends. It was a cold Saturday in a pristine, affluent neighborhood when the devastating effects of heroin hit the same house a second time in a matter of weeks. Two lives snuffed out, and investigators blame an overdose for both. It was his home, and they were his longtime buds.
They weren't customers. I'm not a drug dealer by any means. They were my best friends.
An emotional grieving friend, now suspect as well in the investigations into whether or not Blake Wyndham is responsible for what happened to his friends. Both men in their late 20s, early 30s. Today, he was arraigned on a probation violation. Authorities tell us he admitted he was using heroin this past weekend when he found Jordan Bauer dead in his home. Just a few weeks after he'd dealt with the same, and another best friend found dead in the home after a Super Bowl celebration. That time, it was Corey Dykstra. Two families now hurting.
I can't imagine what you're going through, and I'm so sorry.
Well, how does this happen a second time? How do you respond to that?
This seems to be a personal.
I'm not going to comment on that right now.
Wyndham's family saw the men involved as sons.
These are friends that drink together, go to games together, hang out at the bar together, and unfortunately did some drugs together.
But these two heroin-suspected deaths don't scratch the surface. Ottawa County detectives say there seem to have been more heroin-related deaths over the past 2 years, even in the nicer places like Hudsonville, where things like this just don't seem to happen.
Oh, Christ, man. That's BS at the worst. Don't ever think it's not happening here. Don't ever think it's not happening in Forest Hills.
Wyndham has struggled with the drug himself and now sees heroin from 2 points of view, both as a user and as one of the many who've lost someone they care about.
It's not worth it. It leads to death or jail. It's not worth it. Don't do it, man. Life is way too beautiful.
Blake's father tells us that they are not trying to get out of any charges or any crimes that Blake is responsible for, but they don't believe that he is directly responsible for these men's deaths. The investigators are continuing to look into the case to determine whether or not they'll file any charges. Reporting live at the Ottawa County Jail, Leon Hendricks, 24 Hour News 8.